This is Nebulous Fleet Command. I just found it, I think, was it yesterday? And it looks interesting to me because it feels like Highfleet, but in 3D. I think it's supposed to be some type of mix between like a realistic fleet battle simulator, like you would find in the TV series Expanse, and between Homeworld. And I watched some videos of it, so I'm not completely new to it. In terms of looking at some tutorial videos or the controls from the developers. But this is literally the first time I'm booting the game. And of course I will review any tutorial and just jump right into it. I already have some opinions on it from what I saw. I'm not sure if they're going to be confirmed or not. So what I think it's going to be some really good gameplay experience with some really underdeveloped graphics. I think that part should be improved, but let's see how it goes. Okay, user interface is already a bit too yeah, I have to call it ugly. That looks like a default font for Unreal, for Unity Engine. Which is not a bad thing, because I think the big mistake that sci-fi games make is that they pick sci-fi fonts, and then the game becomes unreadable. I think they avoided that. That's a good thing. Widget help, fire mode, ultra quality, oh yeah. Resync off. Music is so far not getting in the way. I think it might be a bit too... I usually like to turn down the music. Skybox, camera option. Okay, I'll just leave everything at. The video is probably going to be a bit longer than 20 minutes. I'll probably play it for an hour or two. Should I jump into the fleet editor right away? Okay, here's the user interface. I think it's too high contrast. Black on white, black on white, black on white. I think they should really take a look at Highfleet, because Highfleet is a game I think there's no game out there. I think I can remember in recent history, except the Hitman trilogy, that has such a good user interface, like Highfleet. Highfleet, everything fits together perfectly, like the user interface, the audio, and everything. Okay. Frigate. Is it frigate? Is it called frigate? It's supposed to be my main ship. From Blank Hall. I'd like to rename that thing. Does it say BB? Can I change that? Patterns. Why don't I remove that ANS? I can't remove the ANS. Don't like that. I think I don't like the zebra coating of the ship colors. Okay, so what appears to be, I watched some tutorials on it, or rather developer videos explaining it. Those are the internal components. What I do like is the mouse point, the tooltips appear right away. I really like that, because I really hate it in games. So if you have a tooltip and you mouse over it, then it just takes some time to pop in. I guess you have the slots. Now the question is, can I really do that on my own? Like on my first try, figure out all the things I need on the ship. So I'll probably go back to exit to main menu. Skirmish. Already I can see that those rocks, they look ugly as the night. Like they should really like remove space and just have maybe a space station in the center, some fog in the distance, and like a nice moon and some outside distance, or some planet reflects sunlight, because those close-up textures, they really ruin the look of the game. So one without those stupid rocks. See, everything is just a bunch of rocks. You can even tell what the map is about. They'd rather have some space debris of some station or something, because that looks terrible. Like not the way it's rendered. It's a space game, so it should be mostly empty space. It shouldn't artificially like create terrain by having giant rocks floating around. Deployment groups. Okay, no idea what I'm doing here. Oh wait, that's like the area you're coming from. They could use some more polygons on the ships. Like, they don't look too bad, but it's a game that's mostly empty space, so they can afford some I think some extra polygons in the scene. Okay, camera controls. Now what's already really bad with the interface is, notice here, you can barely see the ship from the giant icon. They should change that to some box icon. You know, like Highfleet has them. Highfleet has a perfect interface almost. Like that really gets in the way here. Okay, what am I doing? Space was census view. I don't mind that it's a bit overwhelming with data. It's just those lines should be a bit thinner, like really hair thin, because you can barely understand what's going on here. But I don't mind the extra complexity. It's also those little debris fields. They should remove that. It looks really bad, like downright ugly. And the space fog really doesn't look nice. I'd rather have a blackness of space, maybe a moon in the distance, and have the stars look a certain nicer way, with some stars fading, more faded, maybe some distant space nebula. And you gotta remove those rocks, like, oh my god, it really gets in the way of the looks of the game. You have to stare after some giant rock with that texture. Okay. But the user interface, there's enough space on the screen to write out the exact the exact term, what it is. Okay. I think I have 3 groups, and
standing by.
Okay, so each thing is a group like that.
Receiving.
Is there like a button I have to click to? Yeah, I should have watched the tutorial, didn't I? Shouldn't I? Yeah, a key I can use for maneuvering settings. You know, I didn't watch the. Maybe I can figure out how to actually move the ship. Okay, right mouse should be it. And move the position. But this part is really nice. Like they really worked on having a user interface that works in a 3-dimensional space. Ah, this looks nice, yeah.
Aye, aye, we're on the way.
Now, are they moving together or not? Yeah, I think they do. What is odd is the orientation of the ships. Yeah, like why are they rolling around like that? Can I edit that out? Okay.
Standing by.
I guess the enemy is going to be in that direction somewhere.
On it.
It's functional. User interface is functional, but it's ugly. It's too much high contrast. I would suggest using some muted grays with some orange, something white, something in that direction.
Aye aye, full burn.
Waiting orders.
Hotkey move. Yeah, okay, let's see how I can do that. The sensor series, I think, is that compiles all the sensors that you have. Okay, I got a track target. Like they really got to move those dust motes. It looks terrible.
Receiving.
You know, how do I shoot that?
Looks like we're being jammed. Missile detected. Heads up, they're jamming us. Sensor interference, we're being jammed. Reversing thrust.
Okay, what's going on
Looks
here?
like we're being jammed. Missile warning, inbound spiker.
Waiting orders. Aye, stop it.
Okay, hope the point defense thing is going to work.
Looks like we're being jammed.
Come on, come on, come on.
We're taking fire.
Okay, one was hit. Yeah, they really gotta clean up the visuals. Like, just make it a black space with some stars twinkling. Remove those rocks. Oh my god.
We're reading you.
Look at the damage. Now, are they automatically repairing? Do I have to call them to get there? Like, I know from the videos that there's some deep sensors gameplay, so I know there's some good gameplay hiding in this, but the problem is right now, if somebody is new to that type of game, they're going to get put off by the graphics right now. Especially if you play games like Highfleet, which I think the first indie game that doesn't have bad graphics is an excuse. I think some newer players would just give up right now because it's just what's going on here and all that.
Waiting for your orders, Commander. We're on the way, Commander.
Yeah, how do I fire those missiles? We don't have missiles on this one.
We're reading you.
Do you have any missiles?
Receiving. Being jammed, we're starting sifting protocols.
Okay, now we got radar HE impact. Wait.
Launch confirmed.
That's the direct radar controlled. Okay, how many is there going to fire? Just one? Can I follow the camera? Also, the enemies having. I'm not sure if it's just for me, but seeing red on gray is really hard to see for me. I can barely read what's going on here. Some red is probably not the best color for that. Maybe some orange would be nice.
Standing
Enemy
by.
has us jammed. Attempting to counter.
Target confirmed. Missile away.
Thunderhead.
Missile away.
I thought there was some different seeker options where you can tell the missile to start tracking at a certain point, like in Highfleet. But are they automatically shooting? Is that... Oh, they're intercepting missiles. I think they're going to get through. Come on, get through.
Spiker detected.
Come on. Yeah, this one's going to hit. Ah, come on.
Full impact. Stand by. Power's out. Missile away. Orders. Missile on the scope.
Maybe I should get close to that guy. Oh yeah, orbit that guy up
Engines are
here.
responding. Standing by.
Okay, we don't have a track for this one. Click move, go over here. Oh wait, it's just perspective tricked me here. I think I should find a different thing for jamming because it's. I get they want to confuse you with targeting information, but it looks like a bad screensaver at this point. 2 kilometers, Thunderhead,
Target confirmed.
hit him.
Missile away.
Ah, F is focus. Okay, let's see if I can hit something. Come on, get through, come on.
Drive
Nah,
by.
you think I
Restored.
jumped.
Standing by. Target confirmed. Missile away. Preparing to launch. We're taking fire.
Yeah, come on, hit him.
Is active.
That was a good hit, I think. Okay, I don't know how damaged he is. I think it's part of Census gameplay. You don't know how damaged they are. I think they show in the videos like the particle effects and the damage effects are showing on the parts that are actually getting hit by the enemy.
Standing by. Not possible.
You know, which point can the weapons actually hit something?
Evor detected. We're being jammed.
And it's a bit hard to figure out what type of weapons are on a particular ship. Again, I think Highfleet makes a better job of the user interface to show you what the armaments are on your ship. Like, they just spell it out in really elegant ways. I think this user interface looks elegant, but it kind of hides it a bit too much, I think.
Launch confirmed.
Does he actually have anything else except missiles? I think not. Yeah, he doesn't look dangerous anymore. Oh wait, he does, he's still shooting.
Component destroyed. We need repair team stat.
Hostile spiker on the scope.
It doesn't feel too engaging. You click and you wait for the missile to hit something.
Pole impact. That's it. We're done. Abandoned ship.
I think he looks damaged enough to... Yeah, they gotta get rid of those rocks as gameplay features. It just gets in the way because it kind of betrays the whole space game, the whole space game thing. If you flying around rocks like that,
Heads up, they're jamming us.
and it feels a bit fast-paced, in a weird sense.
Aye aye. Receiving.
Like this is not just jamming information. It's basically the interface getting
Component destroyed.
messed up. So you need to find a better solution to display jamming without it getting so much in the way of actually seeing stuff on the screen. Like perhaps have like a little radar MFT that displays that data on something. Because this looks like a screensaver. Okay, I guess this guy only has missiles.
Standing by.
To move to this guy, orbit him.
Moving.
Let's see how the guns work.
Evac protocols!
Oh, cool! The light boat's coming out.
They're locking onto us. Enemy engaging us.
Like I think it feels a slight amount of. It feels slightly predictable, because the census gameplay is nice, but doesn't really matter. You move your fleet in position, the other guy moves his fleet in position. Everybody starts shooting, and somebody's dead. I think this is how naval combat probably is like in real life. So the game is kind of caught in this complication. If you make it realistic, it can be pretty deterministic in terms of what's going to happen.
Receiving.
And they gotta get rid of those rocks.
Receiving.
Enemy missile launch detected.
Full impact. Component damage. Unable to comply. Stand by. Power's out. Component destroyed.
And this is an unreadable mess right now. See, if you zoom out, it's just...
Component taken out. Loud and clear. Firing solution locked in.
Show me the missile impacts.
Orders.
Why doesn't the...
DC teams report status.
Is it over-penetrating in the sense?
Supply yellow.
Aye, command.
Like, why can't I tell him to just...
Stop the ship.
Like, I have to actually click away from the ship, right mouse, to give movement orders, so I can't tell them to stop. And the hotkey for space up here, for some reason, didn't work. It looks like over-penetration. Oh, that's nice.
All hands, abandon ship.
Hostile lock.
Lifeboat.
We're taking hits. Component offline.
And that's almost not visible for me. I think I have to use some colorblind options, but I don't think I'm colorblind. It's just that red appears, like, that's really hard to read for me. That I can barely read, but this is like track 8114 MZS loom, but it's really hard to decipher for me. Yeah, this guy is really burning really bad now.
Loud and clear. Low power. Component offline.
But we have to manually tell people to actually repair stuff on the
Component
ship.
destroyed.
Are they repairing?
Component offline.
So the game feels kind of automated. Like you can give your mission order, your firing orders, but
Component offline.
I think there should be an option so you can
In
just
the middle of something.
give some high-level orders, like tell them if there's something in range, contact, automatically handle the targeting of the enemy, which I think would take away some of the control from the player. But
We lost a component.
it feels somewhat repetitive.
Hull breach.
Right-click,
Component
target,
destroyed.
press missile. So you
No
should be able to do
power,
it,
no
but
power. We're a little busy, don't you think?
I probably lost this battle, so I'm going to try another one for this video. So, as I expected, the presentation is a bit on the weak side, and they got to remove those rocks. Like they're really terrible. Okay, let me try again. Skirmish. And let's start with this one and give the enemy the same one. Let's try station capture. And you just see a picture of another rock in space. Like, they need to capture the magic of space. Because there's not many polygons in this game. Like, there's no terrain or something except for the rocks. Like, make the ships, make the lighting good, make the particle effects good, and improve the UI, I think. There's some things they could do. And that loading screen, my god, this looks terrible. The thing is, it's early access, so they can improve that, but as with all early access games, they might end up just as a retirement fund for the game developer. If they just notice the sales aren't going well and just make tiny updates over the years and get paid without doing anything. Not saying that that's the intention of this developer, it's just a general warning for this type of gameplay, for early access games. Okay. Problem is, there's currently no way to stop that when you... Because I think games like Highfleet showed that you can have an indie game that looks absolutely fantastic in every single way. Like the particle effects. Like this game, it looks like it was made by a coder. Like good solid gameplay, and the graphics are somewhat... Like it's barely on the edge of acceptable in terms of graphics. And it's easy to improve, I think, because all I have to do is remove these fog things and have the more wispy fog, looks a bit better in the distance. Improve the lighting so it looks like it's more in space. And some better particle effects. Okay, let's see what we got here. And this is...
Receiving.
The lines are too thick, so you can barely make out what's going on. The lines need to be thinner, and maybe the background... A hint of some darker gray, not black and white. Okay, what I like here is it appears to be an empty map. That's good. Okay, how far is that thing? A measuring tool would be nice to have. 6 kilometers away, so wait, that's just... I think one problem the game has is like, I watch the developer videos, there's a lot of intricate radar and sensors gameplay, but if you just play it like that and you didn't watch the developer videos, the game does a pretty poor job of actually telling you that there's deep gameplay in it in terms of radar. I think they should look at Highfleet, how they handle radar. Like you can literally see those really nice radars and infrared radar devices. I think they're two-dimensional, but then again, what they should do is make it like a flight sim, even if it's a 3D game, because in flight simulators you're still in a 3D space, even if it's on Earth, and abstract it on a two-dimensional screen, even if it's inside a radar cone. So the player, for example, click on something and you get in the corner, you get like this little MFD monitor where you can see like with really nice wispy radar sensory looking things, where you can see infrared or radar contacts as fuzzy little blobs, and where you can like put in the magic of looking at the sensor like Highfleet does it. Because a lot of that sensors gameplay right now is so hidden, a normal player will never notice it if you just place it like that. For him, it's going to look like Homeworld with worse graphics. Okay. Like, for example, what's my radar range on that ship? Is it that thing? It's from that thing. Yeah, but the rendering needs to be more appealing, sexier. More sexy. You are going to move up here, like above it. That's what I meant with the radar. Like most of the game's good features are currently hidden in some obscurity, and the game needs to show the player that it's great sensors gameplay in the game. And Highfleet does it effortlessly. Like you look at the different sensors, and they're so beautifully rendered. It's just exciting to interact with them, to turn the dials and that stuff. So my opinion of this game is not bad. It's just I think there's some really solid and good gameplay decisions the developer made, but it's hidden under some really, really bad, not acceptable graphics in terms of like the ships. They look okay. I think they have these slightly chunky Expanse look to them, and then again, Expanse, the ships in Expanse look really ugly too. So they don't do much better. But
Send traffic.
yeah, they gotta sex up the graphics. Like they should play some Highfleet and look at the way the user interface looks. Look at the way the targeting radars look. The in combat holographic HUD, the way it flickers, so it looks like you're looking at like two sensors. Like those games should look like you're looking through two sensors from a flight simulator. Because then you would get the graphics sexiness would match the gameplay depth. Currently, you have a lot of gameplay depth that's invisible to the player. Like when you click this ship, it should be like this, as I mentioned earlier, like this MFD that abstracts the whatever radar cone it has on the 2D screen, and it should just see like the blips going back and forth, and the blips appearing, disappearing. And I think, what's the other game? Barotrauma has a really nice sonar UI. They should take a look at that one too.
Yes, Commander. We're underway. We are en route, Commander. Spiker.
Oh, what's going on
Send
here?
traffic.
You know, I can't just make it stop because if I press space, it goes into center screen. I have to click right away from here. Click on move.
Aye, zeroing speed. Our missile count is low.
This actually feels almost too fast paced for what is advertised.
Our missile count is low. Yeah, we see them.
Okay, show me that radar.
We're being jammed. Looks like we're being jammed.
The explosion flash is a bit too intense from that distance. Again, Highfleet does it perfectly. If there's any game on the planet right now that has good explosion effects, it's
Command, be
Highfleet.
advised, we're taking fire. Send traffic. Component lost.
Probably a miss, was it? Better hit. Come on, show me a hit.
Our signal's being jammed. Yes, Commander. Our sensors are all over the place.
Heads up, they're jamming us. Send traffic. Heads up, they're jamming us.
See, I think that's the problem. To currently enjoy the game, you have to have watched developer videos to actually see all the sensors gameplay going on behind the scenes, which as a normal player you probably wouldn't see right now. You just
Command, we are under fire.
see stuff flashing and see, I'm probably talking about my first impressions verdict as I'm playing this round. Because I don't want to make the video too long.
Incoming.
So I think it's solid gameplay that's almost invisible to the player. And my recommendation for the developer would be play Highfleet. Look at the way the different sensors are displayed. Look at the way the explosions look, flashes look, the sound works, like the background sound of your ship's humming.
Component damage.
Like, there's no game that does it as perfectly as that. And if this game would borrow some of that, and the other thing is, it should expose some of that deep sensors gameplay that they showed in their videos for the player to see. Like in two terms, explaining better what radar ranges are, and making those radar contacts instead of those dancing ugly icons, make them like you would see on a radar screen, like that green fuzz when something reflects off on it, or on sonar screens. Because right now it feels like a really raw tech demo, but the gameplay is too obscure for the player to see.